Thank you for attending today, Glazier's Hall in London, for a very special press conference to announce the long-term multi-fight deal between Matchroom Boxing and Billy Joe Saunders. I've spent a lot of time around this young man, sometimes on flights where he was doing things to me while I was asleep, and sometimes watching him in performances that have wowed myself and also the world of boxing. I think for a long time, everybody in the sport of boxing knows just how good Billy Joe Saunders is. In fact, I spoke to Dave Coldwell last night, who said to me, I saw Billy Joe spar recently, so he wasn't even in shape. He said the guy is amazing, an amazing fighter. And I truly believe he has the potential to be a pound-for-pound great fighter in the sport. At middleweight for a long, long time, a lot of those fights eluded him for many reasons. Sometimes it's not easy with cross-networks and cross-promotional issues to make these fights. Sometimes you're just too good to get certain fights. And I think one of Billy Joe's big problems is sometimes he's just been too good to get a Canelo fight or a Triple G fight. I think sometimes he's in that mode of, well, I don't want to fight Billy Joe. Why would you fight Billy Joe? Or the reason you fight Billy Joe Saunders now is because he's with us, because he's a major player, and because there's serious money to be made from fighting Billy Joe Saunders. Now up at 168 pounds, the game completely changes. Here you have a world-class pound-for-pound fighter that has the ability and the option to box in two weight divisions. When you look at the fighters that we're involved with, promotionally, and the fighters we work with across our platforms, the opportunities for Billy Joe Saunders is endless. Callum Smith, what a great domestic fight that could be at 168 pounds. Canelo, Triple G, Demetrius Andre, Danny Jacobs, all these fights. And also another fight I'd love to make is a Chris Eubank fight, because the build-up would be stupendous. And we also want to make all of those fights as soon as possible. The last week or so has been frustrating because we couldn't go to those teams and talk to them about the Billy Joe Saunders fight. Now we can. And Billy Joe Saunders, regardless, will box end of October, early November, UK or America. He has a choice of both. And we'd like to fight all those names that we mentioned, and we'll be doing our utmost to make those as soon as possible. But activity is the key for Billy Joe Saunders. A plan, a strategy is key, because he now sits on the verge of all these mega fights and proving to people what he may just be, which is a pound-for-pound great, and a true great of British boxing. So it's a complete honour to work with Billy Joe Saunders. Thank you to MTK, who have been instrumental in making this deal happen, and of course Sky Sports and DAZN, who are thrilled to be working with Billy Joe. And I'm going to pass over to Billy to say a few words before we have a few questions and a little chat about the future.
It's going to be very hard to follow that rundown. But listen, first of all, I just want to say, obviously, thank you very much for MTK for making this happen, and Sky Sports Boxing and Matchroom and Eddie. You know, we all work very hard to make the deal. You know, I'd like to say that I've always looked at, you know, the names on DAZN and on Matchroom, and thinking, you know, I'd love to be part of that to, you know, to perform and to see how good I am. And I was having this conversation the other day. Financially, it's not about the money for me now, even though that comes with it. It's about being the best, and seeing Golovkin and Canelo fight and everybody raving over it, and me looking and thinking, you know I can beat them. And I just want to say thanks to everybody for who's obviously worked to make this deal happen. You know, I'm very, very lucky for, you know, that my career's gone to be sitting here. And now it's time for me to prove. I've been hollering enough and shouting enough at the big fights. It's time for me to prove that, you know, I can't only talk the talk, I can walk the walk. And I know with Eddie, Matchroom and DAZN, I'll get that chance, and I will grab it with both hands.
I know you want those mega fights. Talk to us about the weight classes and divisions as well. I mean, this is such a unique opportunity where all the big fights are there for you at 160, but you hold the belt at 168.
It's one of those. I mean, originally when I got the phone call to fight for the title, Ramirez was world champion. So in my own head, I was fighting Ramirez. There was no doubt about it. Then Ramirez obviously vacated, because it's hard for me to get a fight at 160. All these big names I've been hollering and shouting and trying to get them big fights, you know, for a reason, to test myself. And Ramirez come up and I said, look, no problem, I'll move up and I'll fight, and I'm confident I can beat him. And then obviously vacated. and then Sufi stepped in as number 2. So you can only box who's put in front of you. I beat him, but I can fluctuate between 2 weights, 160 and 168. You know, people say that he's not a big 168. Well, get the best in the ring with me and I'll prove I'm the best. I know I'm the best at 168 and 160. So, you know, you bring them to me and I'll show you how to beat them.
When we talk about those fighters, interested, we haven't had a chance to actually sit down yet and go through these fighters and get your opinion. I know you will fight any of them. How do you rate these guys? Let's talk about the 168 division first. Obviously the Callum Smith fight is a fight that has massive potential now to be made. We know there's no bad blood between you, so I think on paper you have to say he's the guy in the division right now.
Yep.
How do you rate him and how do you rate that fight for yourself?
I think Callum's a brilliant fighter. You know, I think he's a good fighter. Done very, very well in his career. Good puncher, good boxer. He's got all the attributes you need to be a world champion. But I know that, you know, you put me in the ring with someone who's on the same level or level above, I rise and rise and rise. You know, that's the reason why I want these big fights, to see, you know, sink or swim. Can I raise to where I think I can raise to? Because if I can, then I know I've got the beating of all of them. You know, Callum Smith, people look at him and he would be favourite going into the fight. He's a great fighter, a lot of respect for Callum. You know, the Smith brothers, great boxing family. But I genuinely believe I've got the beating of Callum Smith and any other super middleweight in the division.
Talking about someone that doesn't quite have the resume of Callum Smith or the belts, Chris Eubank Jr., still a big domestic fight, and I know one that we have talked about in the past, one that still whets the appetite of British fight fans. I know you've beaten him previously.
Yeah, for me, he's a world-class bum, really, because without being disrespectful, if I couldn't beat him, then I'd never put on a pair of gloves again, because you know, his boxing IQ, everything like that, he's fit and strong, that's it. You know, he stepped up against Groves, and Groves was, you know, past it really. You know, he retired a fight after. I think that's the Eubank fight. You know, it's a fight that obviously I wouldn't attain. You know, the only gain I'm going to get out of that is financial. Anything else, I'll beat with my eyes closed. I don't really rate him. I don't put him in top. I wouldn't put him in the top 5, 6 in England. Definitely not.
Talk about the middleweight division, 160. The fight that we thought we were going to make once. I was so excited about, and obviously we had a press conference out there. Demetrius Andre.
Yep.
A guy that I do liken a bit to yourself in that has great boxing skills and is not someone necessarily on the top of the list that some of the bigger names stand out and jump out to fight.
I think because of his style, I think that, you know, they look at him as a long, gangly southpaw, but I looked at a lot of flaws in Andre that I knew I could exploit. You know, for the likes of, I know it was different level, but southpaws, you look at my previous southpaw opponents, Andy Lee, Tony Hill, you know, Akavov, even though that fight, you know, wasn't 100%. The list goes on, the southpaws, and I just find that with Andre, he would cause somebody like, you know, Golovkin a bit of trouble because he's got good feet and good hands, but I feel that a good counter puncher would beat him to the punch, and at world class, you can't afford to be getting beat to the punch. But he's a good fighter, I put him up there, but at middleweight, I was very confident about taking him out of the game.
One guy like yourself that can fluctuate is Danny Jacobs.
Yep.
Obviously part of the Zone and Sky Sports team as well. Another potential fight for you at 160 or at 168.
Yeah, I think Danny Jacobs, he's a brilliant fighter. I think that he just got lost in the moment against Canelo. You know, Golovkin, I thought he could have maybe nicked that fight. He's a good fighter. I'll put him up there definitely. He's a real fight, and if I boxed him, it'd be a hell of a fight. Good for the fans.
Talk about the two money fights, if you like, at 160. Firstly, Gennady Golovkin looks set to fight Derevyanchenko for the IBF world title. Where do you think he's at in his career, and do you think that is a fight that you win in style?
Well, it's one of them. I was having a conversation with someone the other day. If I can't beat a 37-year-old man who's been around a bit now, then I'm 29 in my prime. And there's something wrong. Again, I'm not as good as what I thought I was. So I'm very, very confident of beating Golovkin, very clearly and very widely. I think that the two fights with Canelo showed, because the first one I thought he won, and the second one Canelo didn't improve. But obviously the training camp and the sparring in Golovkin's camp took a toll, and that's what really caused that fight to be a little bit closer than the first one. And I believe that I could exploit that very, very easily in Golovkin.
Again, Golovkin, someone that could potentially fluctuate in the weight class. I think his last fight was at 163, this is at 160. But I know, speaking to their team, he'd be willing to maybe move up and fight you for a 2 division. World Championship?
Well, Golovkin can come up to 180 if he wants for me. I'm not bothered about that. I'll fight Golovkin whatever weight he wants, because that's the fight that, you know, I would absolutely love, because I think that if I got that fight and I could show people around the world how, not, you know, being big-headed or brash talking, but show people how easily I could beat him in outboxing and probably do a better job than Canelo, then people would probably call for that fight after.
With Canelo, and obviously your signing was discussed with Sky, particularly DAZN, and they see you as a prime candidate for the Canelo fight. Obviously they have a huge deal with him over many fights and many years. That really is the money fight in the division. I think you've got to put him up in the pound for pound top 3 in boxing right now. Do you see that as your biggest test in boxing?
You know, it all depends, because obviously he's the biggest name, but styles make fights, and we see when he boxed Lara, he had all sorts of trouble. And I believe I'm technically, my mindset's a lot better than Lara's, and you know, I thought Lara nicked that fight. And back then Canelo was more in his prime. You know, all these training camps, you see him now training all these knee supports and, you know, these elbow supports and all that. He's a brilliant fighter. I'm not taking anything away from him, I'm not talking down to him, but I wouldn't be sitting here if I couldn't believe I could beat these, because I wouldn't get in the ring with anybody, no matter if he offered me £1 billion if I didn't think I could win. I'm going in these fights knowing and believing what I can do, and you know, even though that he's the big name in the sport, I'm there to take it. I'm on that ladder looking up now, I'm on the right path with DAZN, and with Matchroom and yourself to make them fights and to win them.
Finally, where do you see yourself at now mentally in your life? You know, we've seen a lot of the questions I was getting earlier, people saying, oh, you know, do you have to talk to Billy about, you know, what he does on social media and says? And I said that you can't take the rawness out of Billy Joe, because that's what I believe can make you beat fighters like Canelo and Triple G. But do you feel as though you've sort of matured in your life now, in your career, and it's all action now, absolute all business, no messing around?
Well, that's it. I mean, you know, I look at it in, you know, the past. What I've done obviously is a few bits and bobs here and there, and more than a few bits and bobs probably, but it's not been great, is it, for the public eye? But you know, I'm not a dressed up person. I am who I am, and I'm not arrogant. I'm just, you know, I'm one of the boys, shall I say? But when it comes to my work now, I know that I'm on this track, and you know, everything I've been working for all my life. I've been boxing since I've been 5, so everything I've ever wanted and worked for now is on the platform of where I'm at now, the zone, the Sky in America. You know, that's the time now to put my name in big shiny lights and to see how good I am.
And finally, one thing that I said as well in interviews is you are a boxing man through and through. I mean, you have opinions on everything, you have strategies on everything, you watch every kind of fight. You believe that schooling that you've had from such a young age is going to put you in a position to beat all these top guys?
I don't think it's schooling, I just think it's something that you're born with. And I know that from day one, as soon as I put a pair of gloves on, I was born to win. And you know, the best thing that ever happened to me was getting beat in the 2008 Olympics, because you know, the Olympic gold medalist and the silver medalist, I beat them 9 weeks before in the previous tournament. But I went there being big balls and thinking I was the man, and got dusted by the Cuban who I beat. But that was the best thing. And then I realised that, you know, if you want to win, you have to stay focused. When you get that date, when you get that opponent, you lock on. And the main thing is win. No matter how you win clean, ugly, however you got to win, as long as you win, because as you know, Eddie, in this game, that gets you to the next level. And that's all I'm about, is winning. So I think that I was born with that.
Thank you, Billy, for your honesty and your chat. And we cannot wait for this journey. Like I said, his date will be announced either the end of this week or early next week, end of October, early November, UK, America. He's capable of boxing wherever he wants, in all the big fights, and I cannot wait to see him boxing on Sky Sports and DAZN. This is a huge signing for Matchroom and our broadcast partners, and we look forward to a great relationship with Billy Joe Saunders and MTK. Of course, Billy available for you guys one-on-one. We're going to have a quick photo up here, even though he looks $1 million today in his shiny suit, and we look forward to a great journey. Thanks for showing up today. Thank you.